up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation expert, money mindset and fulfillment coach, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur. Come sit with me while I spill the real tea on what it's like to practice using intentional manifestation, demystify all of the woo-woo and confusing bullshit that comes along with creating the life of your dreams, and give you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, spiritual, and professional growth journey. The goal of this podcast is to support and guide you towards manifesting all of your dreams, shed light on the things that people are too scared to talk about, and encourage you to become the person who gets to have it all, be it all, and do it all. I am so happy you are here. Let's fucking do this thing. What's up, loves? Welcome back to another episode of the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. I am sitting here on the ground in my apartment. I always make podcasts sitting on the ground for some reason. Like, I always have to be very grounded, and closest way to do that for me is sitting on the ground, but grounded and sunshine pouring in right now, which is lovely. It's been kind of gray and gloomy in New York City the past week since I've been back, but it's also been really nice because it's been nice to be inside and catch up on reading and all of these different things that I've been wanting to do. But for today's podcast episode, I have sort of like a step-by-step process that can help you ensure that you manifest your most abundant year in 2022. And something that I've noticed as like a common theme for me recently is kind of putting these processes together so that it's very applicable and you can implement them into your life in a way that makes sense, as opposed to, I think there's a ton of resources out there when it comes to manifestation that are really fucking confusing. And my goal always is to break this down as simple as I possibly can so that you can implement it into your life and you can step into the role of manifesting all of these different things that you desire to have, as opposed to feeling as though it's like you can't get to that place or you have no clue how to get to that place, or only some people can get there while other people can't, because that is a bunch of bullshit, as you already know if you've listened to my show, because manifestation is something that all of us do all of the time, not just some of us and not just the good things. We are all manifesting everything in our lives 100% of the time. And there are different ways that we can adjust our energy, our focus, our thoughts, our behaviors, all of these different things that make up our vibration to shift the way that we are attracting and manifesting things into our lives. So today, with that, I've created a 3-step process for you of how to ensure that if you implement this into your life on a daily basis, you will manifest the most abundant year of your life in 2022. And this is something that I bring myself back to on a daily basis and have since I started my manifestation journey. Not until recently did I put it into like words in an actual process, but through taking these steps since I started my manifestation journey, this is how I've broken it down to make it super simple and make it make sense. So with that being said, my 3-step process to ensure that 2022 is going to be the most abundant year of your life, and honestly, let's be honest, all of the years moving forward from this point, you can come back to and remember as the 3 I's. We're going to break those 3 I's down, but as long as you remember that your 3 I's that you're paying attention to on a daily basis, that is going to help you recenter your energy and focus your vibration in on attracting and manifesting the things that you desire. With that being said, the first I is intention. So when it comes to the manifestation process, and I did a full episode on this last week, my 5-step process to setting intentions that will actually manifest 100% of the time. This is your first component of the intentional manifestation process, because just like I said, we're manifesting everything in our lives always, whether you're aware of it or not. But for us and anybody who's listening to this podcast episode, this is about intention. intentional manifestation. This is about you declaring and claiming the things that you are attracting and manifesting into your life. And that cannot happen unless you are being very intentional about what that thing is. And this has to be an aligned message because it is currently 1:11 as I am recording this, 1:11, and the timer on the track that I'm running just ran past 1,111 as well. So let's fucking go. Here we go. Let's talk about intentions. The reason that this is so important is because there is a very distinct difference between wanting something, wishing for something, dreaming about something, and having the intention to manifest something. And the very distinct difference between the dreaming, the wishing, the wanting versus the intention is that when you are wishing, wanting, and dreaming, you are approaching whatever it is that you want to manifest from the energy of lack. And if you are approaching something from the energy of lack, then that is the energy that is going to be projected out towards your manifestation. And then by the universal law of attraction, attract back in more lacking circumstances. So one of the things that I always share with the women that I work with is that when it comes to the manifestation process, it's not so much about the action or the doing or the whatever it is about the energy behind that action. So when you are sitting, wishing, waiting, wanting, that is coming from the energy of lack because immediately it reminds you that you don't already have that thing. As opposed to an intention, intention comes with action. It comes with the decision, the declaration, the claiming of the fact that that is what you are calling into your life. That is what you are going to take action towards. That is what you are going to align yourself with in order to call that into your reality. And setting that intention for the intentional manifestation process, what we want you to focus on is stepping into the energy of, if I was already this person, what would I know to be true? How would I behave? How would I feel? All of those different things, because that puts you into the energy of already having it, puts you into the energy of the abundance of that thing. And as you are projecting that abundance out into the universe, you become a vibrational match to attract back in more abundance into your life. So breaking that down in other words, when you are setting the intention for something, you are claiming that thing. You are declaring that this is something that gets to be a part of your reality, as opposed to wanting or wishing or dreaming about something. You are saying, this is far off for me. This is way out there in the distance and I don't know if I can have it. I don't even know if it's something that can be a part of my reality, and therefore putting time and space between you and receiving that thing. When you are setting an intention, you are stepping into the declaration, into that energy of becoming and being the person who has that manifestation, and therefore cutting the distance between where you're at right now and where you must be in order to receive it, so that you can actually take the steps to become that person and to be the vibrational match to receive these things, which with our other eyes, that's going to help us break down how to become that person and really step into this area. But that is your first eye. The intention is the first step of what you want to do and what you want to put your focus and attention into in order to start to attract and manifest the things that you desire into your life. Which leads us into the second step, our second eye, inner work. And if you are part of the spiritual community, part of the manifestation community, personal development, self-help, all of this good stuff, you've probably heard a fuck ton of people say, do the inner work. And there is a lot of confusing, weird shit out there when it comes to understanding what the inner work actually is. And a lot of people confuse inner work with the actual act of manifestation. I was actually just watching a YouTube video, and it was from somebody who is like very, very well known / seen in the world of personal development. And they were talking about manifestation and how manifestation is essentially what doing the inner work is. And while this person had a lot of incredible things to say, that is not true. That's not right. There's a very distinct difference between manifesting and doing the inner work. You can manifest anything at any point in your life, and you do manifest anything at every point in your life with or without doing the inner work. We can manifest the shit that we don't want. We can manifest the shit that we don't like. We can manifest the good, the bad, the ugly. And when you are doing the inner work, it helps alleviate a lot of those situations where you're manifesting the shit that you don't want and the shit that you don't like. But you do not have to do inner work to manifest because, like I said, you're manifesting everything always. The difference is when it comes to the inner work is actually clearing out the different limiting beliefs, the traumas, the behaviors, the patterns, all of these different things that are creating the manifestations that you don't really like, the things that you don't really want, and allowing you to become more of a clear channel to receive the things that you do, the things that you're being very intentional about and wanting to call into your life. So when it comes to the inner work, it's exactly that. It's clearing out the limiting beliefs, the self-sabotaging behaviors, the traumas, the patterns, the things that you wish would just go away, the ego talk, all of those things that you may or may not be aware are here right now. And most of the time we're not aware of these things because the subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of the human brain. So while most of us think that we are walking around our lives being conscious, deliberately creating everything, the reality is that you are only doing that 5% of the time. And the other 95% is coming from your subconscious mind, which typically is molded between ages 0 to 7. And through that programming, through the beliefs that you are taught, through the behaviors that you are taught, gives you the foundation of which you then manifest your life off of. And I'm going to break this down in a different way. So the way that I like to think about this is if your mind was a garden. Right now, if you haven't done any inner work, odds are your garden is full of weeds. And from that garden, you are still manifesting. You are still growing those weeds. And that is what manifestation is without the inner work. You are manifesting more and more weeds of all of the shit that you do not want. And sometimes there are a few flowers that pop up, and those are the few beautiful moments that happen throughout your life. But when you are not doing the inner work to clear out the weeds, then those weeds are going to take over and kill out all of the flowers that do exist. And that's where people find themselves in this position of feeling like they're the victim to their lives, or that nothing good ever happens to them, or that when something good happens to them, then something comes and takes it away. The reason that happens is because we attract and manifest into our lives what we believe with absolute certainty, whether those beliefs are supportive or those beliefs are shit. So when it comes to this garden and doing the inner work, what the goal is when you are in this intentional manifestation process and stepping into this version of yourself who easily attracts and manifests all of the things that they desire, is doing that inner work to clear out the weeds. Get to the root of what those weeds are so that you can actually plant flowers in the ground that are going to stay there and be supported. So what you see a lot of the time in the world of manifestation and the law of attraction and inner work and all of these different things is that you have your garden full of weeds, and instead of actually getting to the roots of those different weeds, what people will teach is to trim the weeds down with gratitude, positive thinking, meditation, affirmations, all of these different things that, yes, they work for a short amount of time because you're trimming those weeds down. But eventually, because those roots are still underneath the ground, then you are going to have those weeds continue to grow back. And what the actual process of inner work is getting to the roots of all of those different limiting beliefs so that you can pull them up from that ground level, get all of those roots out of the ground, ground and create the space for you to then plant the seed of what you're choosing to be true about yourself and about your life moving forward, and then finding the tools to water it and tend to it on a daily basis so that you're having flowers grow in their place instead. And that place where your garden is full of flowers instead of your garden being full of weeds is where you effortlessly attract and manifest more of the things that you desire into your life. So when we break it down in a different way, that is like the overview of what doing the inner work is from like a metaphorical standpoint. But when you break it down to like what the inner work actually is, it's journaling, it's somatic healing, it's meditation, affirmations, all of these different things. It's diving deep into those uncomfortable layers of yourself, where those traumas, where those self-sabotaging behaviors, where those insecurities, where all of these different things that create resistance and lack of safety and inner turmoil and lack of self-worth and anything that honestly makes you feel like shit kind of hangs out. Getting to the root of those different things and clearing out the energetic, mental, and emotional relationship to that experience and to the root of that limiting belief so that you can actually clear it out of yourself and then choose from that point what would be true for the version of myself who already has my manifestations. If you were the version of yourself who already made the money that you wanted to make, or had the relationship that you wanted to have, or owned the business, had the dream job, whatever it is that you desire to be true for your life, those belief systems, those behaviors, those emotions can only come into play and truly grow their own roots inside of you and become your new normal and raise your set point of attraction if you are doing the work to clear out all of that shit that's hanging out underneath and affecting the way that you attract and manifest the things that you desire into your life. And this is something that I am so passionate about and like I will harp on all day long because this is where it feels like my life actually started. Before doing the inner work, I was the victim to my own life, and I always felt as though life was out to get me, that no matter what I did to try and change, that there was always this invisible force that was trying to hold me back and take me away from all of the things that I wanted, that like I just wasn't made for a life that was great, that I was like made for a life of settling and all of these bullshitty stories that after doing so much fucking inner work, I've been able to identify where those things have come from and like where in my childhood, where in my upbringing, I believed those things in the first place. So for like an example of this is a very small manifestation that I just put the pieces together very recently. One of the things that I am choosing for myself to be true in my life moving forward is that I'm a morning person. And instead of saying I'm trying to be a morning person or I want to be a morning person, because once again, taking that back to our intention, that's from the energy of lack. That's from the energy of wanting and wishing and dreaming, as opposed to setting the intention of this is what I am declaring and this is what I am choosing to be true for myself and for my life moving forward. So I'm becoming a morning person. I am a morning person now. And with that intention, starting to dive in and do the inner work around that has been something that has completely blown my mind. Something as simple as becoming a morning person, I've had so much resistance to in the past. And as I was sitting in meditation and asking my inner world, asking my inner workings and my subconscious mind to show me why I had so much resistance to being a morning person, the message finally came through that I had so much resistance to becoming a morning person because I had, for the longest period of my life, such a deep dread around waking up and such a fear that if I wasn't able to sleep, I don't know, a really fucking long time, then I would just be plagued by the anxieties that were coming up for me, that I was going to spiral, that I was going to feel really scared. And so from the age of 16, when I first went through my first serious bout of depression and suicidal thoughts and all of the mental health issues that I was facing at that time. From that point moving forward, I was a hardcore sleeper inner, if that can be a word. But I would sleep in till like 9, 10, 11 o'clock if I could, because the longer that I stayed asleep, the longer that I could guarantee that I wouldn't experience the anxieties, the fear, the really challenging things that I was facing at that time. And even though that was so long ago and I've done so much work to shift the different relationship that I have with myself in these different aspects of my life, becoming a morning person was something that was becoming really challenging for me. And I was always unsure as to why. And through that curiosity of diving into these deep, uncomfortable layers and really bringing myself to the position of looking them in the face, that is when this clarity arose around the fact that I didn't feel safe enough to wake up early. I didn't feel safe enough to put myself in the position where I was awake longer than I had been in the past, because my brain still had the association that wasn't safe. So bringing this back to what I was talking about, it's like, that's not a physical manifestation. That's not money or the dream man or the career or whatever it is that we always are trying to manifest externally from ourselves. But that is still a manifestation. That is a manifestation of my limiting beliefs and of my traumas that I had experienced during that time. And coming back into this position now of declaring that I'm a morning person and setting that intention and choosing to do the inner work around it, I've cried it out. I have dove back into the emotion, what I felt during that time when I felt such dread to wake up in the morning. I've journaled it out. I've done energy work. I've cleared so much of that out of my body, and it's becoming easier and easier to now wake up at an early hour and start my day and hit the ground running. And if it wasn't for the inner work, that is something that I would continue to manifest over and over again in my life. This pattern of waking up and feeling guilty for waking up late and sleeping in and all of the different things, as opposed to doing this inner work so that I can identify as this person who is a morning person and move forward from that position and receive so much more during those times that I'm now awake, as opposed to when I was just sleeping the day away to avoid those old fears and discomforts and pains and all of the different things. So I hope that makes sense. That is just one example of the inner work. And this is something that, in my experience, is really challenging to do on your own. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, 95% of our brain is subconscious. And the subconscious is not readily available to your consciousness. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of taking yourself to new levels and approaching your mind, your thinking, your being with different modalities that we do not have available to ourselves without learning them from other people, without finding the guidance that can help you get to that place of tapping into and accessing the subconscious mind so that you can actually pull these different things out of you and move through them and work through them. And I don't say this to market myself and be like, that's why you need to join the Abundant AF Babe Academy. But I say that because if you recognize that this is a path that you are walking down, that you want your manifestations to become effortless in your life, doing the inner work is crucial. And whether that be the Abundant AF Babe Academy or you finding a coach that you really resonate with, somebody who has the tools, who has the modalities, that has the knowledge and the experience to help guide you through what it is that you've experienced and clear all of that out so that you can step into the version of yourself who easily gets to declare their manifestation and then call it into their life, then that is what I encourage all of you to do. Find the person that you resonate with. If it's me, awesome. let's chat about the Abundant AF Babe Academy. If it's not me, that's also okay. There are so many incredible coaches out there that are doing this work and know how to help guide you to that place. But trying to do this work on your own, you're going to be doing it for a long fucking time and you will feel like you are not making progress. And anything in our lives that we do not see progress with, we think doesn't work. That is what our brains are conditioned to do. When we read personal development books, self-help books, manifestation books, X, Y, and Z, try to implement the things into our lives and then don't see the shift and the change and the transition that the people inside of the books are talking about, that's when you feel like this shit doesn't work. That's when you feel like either something's wrong with you or that this stuff isn't real and it doesn't work. But the reality is that the way that you are approaching it or the way that you are perceiving that information without guidance from somebody else just isn't getting you the result that you want. Because this shit works. There's a reason that if you listen to a lot of the personal development stuff or the spiritual stuff, the manifestation stuff, whatever it is, that you will hear similar things over and over and over. Because maybe the first time you reject it. Then the second time, you're still not quite there with it. Third time starts to make a bit more sense. Fourth time, it's starting to get there for you. But oftentimes, we can't get ourselves to that place without the perspective shift from somebody else and without the guidance of somebody else to show you how to actually implement it into your life and somebody who understands how to do that for you. And that's why coaches are here. That's what we're trained to do. We are trained to help guide you to the position of understanding how to implement these different things into your life and do the inner work and clear out this shit so that you can actually move closer to what it is that you desire to have in your life and who you desire to be in your life. So long rant, coming back to the point, that is your second I, inner work. So first I was intention, second I is inner work, and this is the perfect transition, what I just went off on, into the third I, which is inspired action. Once again, going back to what we were talking about at the very beginning with intention versus wanting, dreaming, wishing. You can sit on your couch, lay in your bed, watch Netflix, eat a bowl of ice cream, do whatever the fuck it is that you want from that energy. Whereas intention and your manifestations require inspired action. So whether that be you quitting the job that you hate, stepping into this area of your life where you are questioning and researching how you can make more money, you are putting yourself out there on dating apps, you're going on dates, you're going to coffee shops, you're listening to the intuitive pull to go to Whole Foods, you are calling that friend that you haven't called in a really long time, you're listening to what your little guidance system inside of you is trying to tell you to do, or listening to the ideas and the things that you have wanted in the past that you've written off as childish or foolish or not possible or whatever the fuck it is. Giving yourself permission to take action on those things and guide yourself towards what you would do if you were the version of yourself who already had the things that you wanted. So an example of this, let's say that you want to manifest more money. You take yourself through the other two I's. So the intention of declaring and putting yourself into the energy of, I am somebody who makes a lot of money. I am somebody who calls in more money. And then doing the inner work surrounding making that money, clearing out the different limiting beliefs associated to your relationship with money, your relationship with yourself, how you perceive rich people, how you perceive money as a whole, clearing out all of the different harmful energy associated to money, and then taking the inspired action to receive that money, whether that be getting an intuitive pull to do something, receiving a new opportunity that feels incredibly aligned and inspired for you, asking for a raise at work, starting that side hustle or that business, doing something that puts you in the position where you're energetically open to receiving more. That is the beauty beauty of this entire 3-step process, these 3 I's, is that what it's doing is starting to energetically open you up to receiving and raising your set point of attraction to naturally and effortlessly call more of that abundance into your life. And without these 3 steps, intentional manifestation is really fucking hard, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be hard. And that is something that I am also super passionate about. And I always want to hit home on is like, this doesn't have to be fucking hard. Manifestation, this journey that I've been on, while it hasn't been easy at points, it's definitely had its challenges, especially diving into some of the inner work that I have done. Manifestation itself is not hard. This is something that is innate to us. We innately manifest every single thing in our lives. So when we can do the intentional work to start to shift and redirect our energy into what we want, as opposed to all of the bullshitty, gross, yucky things, then that is when you feel as though you've cracked the code. You can fucking do the thing, because it's not hard. It just takes intention. It takes willingness. It takes the desire to want to do this and to really step into this with everything you have, with a hell yes or a hell no. And if you choose to walk down this path, then I just want to applaud you and really honor you, because it would be easier to allow all of the past programming and conditioning and unhealed behaviors and self-sabotage and toxicity and all of the different things run the show. And I know that because I've been there. Like, you are talking to the recovered queen, recovering, honestly, let's be real, because there's still moments of this, the recovering queen of self-sabotage and victimizing herself and feeling as though life was just out to get her. I've chose to walk down this path because this path, it may be a bit more challenging at the get-go, but you're building the foundation of an easy life when you go this way, as opposed to choosing the easy thing to do and having a really fucking hard life because of it. So the choice is yours. This formula is something that you can bring yourself back to on a daily basis. And through using this, you can absolutely manifest every single thing that you desire. Ensure that this year is going to be the most abundant year of your life, as well as all of the years moving forward. And that is my wish and my desire for you. So if you are not already a part of my private Facebook community, I want to encourage you to join and become a part of that. That is where I do free weekly trainings that go super in depth into all of these different concepts around manifestation, the law of attraction. And that is where you get the most in-depth sort of trainings like that from me. This podcast is also an incredible place for it. And within the next 2 weeks, I also have 2 other really, really exciting announcements that I cannot wait to share with all of you, but those are going to be incredible resources as well. So with that being said, I hope that this episode was helpful. I hope that it was also a bit of a wake-up call if these were things that you are not already aware of and things that you feel as though you have been getting caught up on or needed some clarity around. So I love you all. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Oh my gosh. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I am so grateful to have these no bullshit talks with you. If you enjoyed today's episode or the podcast as a whole, please spread the love by leaving me a review on iTunes or sharing the podcast with others. This is how I will be able to spread more of these good vibes and be able to make more of an impact on the lives of others. And if you're not already part of all of the goodness and communities that I have to offer, check out the show notes. I have links to the different ways that I can support you on your manifestation journey and help you live a life full of more money, fulfillment, and freedom. But that is all for now. So big love and hugs, and I will chat with you soon, babe.